see some of the outside. And I just left this spot in Dumbo. So I'm in Dumbo having an IPA on a Friday night, a little after midnight. So it's Saturday morning. Friday night, Saturday morning, New York City. It's 79 degrees. And I'm sitting at a bar. And now I'm in this bar. And there's only 3 black girls in the bar. One was a dark-skinned chick who was with a white guy. And he kept rubbing her butt and slapping her on the butt. Like real little tiny pats on her butt. And she was leaning all over him. All her body weight was on him while he was at the bar chair. And when she leaned in on him, he would just like pat her. Little light pats on her butt. And there's these 2 other black women that are watching this whole thing go down. And after about maybe 15 minutes of this, one of them makes it to the bar and of course, gives the little bump. Women, they know they approach men by bumping them. They always hit you with that light little bump. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Oh, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm like, no problem. And she's like, what's that you're drinking? And I'm like, IPA. And she said, oh, I love IPA. She said, that's that Indian beer, right? And I was like, yeah, something like that. And she goes back to her friend, says something to her friend, and then she comes back to the bar. So now she orders for her and her friend the same drinks that they had, I guess. And what happens was she then wants to know, do I come to this place often? I said, this is my first time walking in here. And she said, this is my first time too. And I was like, okay, that's great. And she was just like, where you from? What do you do? And I'm like, let's keep it a mystery. That's my standard response. I'm always like, let's keep it a mystery. And we just met. Let's just keep it a mystery. So she was just like, okay. Well, and she's like, she's really like, hi, how you doing? And she's really upbeat, super, super upbeat. And I'm a little like, I wouldn't say melancholy. I've been feeling pretty good. Like last week I was a little melancholy with the whole Premium Black News changing locations, let's put it that way. So I was going through it a little bit that like 2 weeks, but I've been pretty good this week, and but I'm just I'm a bit of a loner, and today I was just I wasn't really in the mood to talk to this particular chick, so I didn't want to like all right. It's like I didn't want to ignore the chick and come across like I'm just one of these like, guys that can't speak to women. I don't want to come across as that guy who just doesn't know how to speak to women. Because I can speak to women, like like something you've read about. That's a fact. And something you've seen in a novel somewhere, in a Daniel Steele novel. I'm making a joke now. I just be myself. I always just regular. I'm not into that whole, game. I'm like torn to say like, yeah, I don't speak ism. I don't speak ism, but I'm well versed. Like I'm not gonna spit ism to a woman. That right. I've done it though. I ain't gonna lie. There was a time when I was what was the line I would use? Be looking for a come up. Oh yeah, that was my thing. From the looks of your bag and your shoes, you're looking for a come up. I remember I've said that to women. That's so long ago, so crazy. I can tell from your bag and your shoes you're looking for a come up. And it's irrefutable. A woman knows when she wears cheap shoes. She knows when, she's aware. She's fully aware when she's wearing cheap shoes, and her bag is trash. She knows. And that was one of the things that I did with LJ when we were together. Like the first couple of years, I bought her tons of bags, all leather bags, and it wasn't like Coach and Louis Vuitton, and it wasn't that. It was just really nice bags. Like $150, $250, $80 bags. $290 bags. And it wasn't Michael Kors. It wasn't none of that. I wanted her to see that, those people just pushing a brand. You pay for their brand, but this is a purse right here. Look at the stitching on this. Look at the way they've, this is made in Italy. This is made by the best leathers you're gonna, So I always wanted to. I forgot they turned this into a one-way. Anyway, I need to be heading this way anyway. So we're at the bar, and the bartender gives her a drink, and one for her friend. So she has a hand, and I say, leave yours, hand your friend hers. And she was like, okay, don't you put nothing in my drink. And I was just like, no, don't worry, you're good. So she hands her friend the drink, and then she comes over, and she's enjoying her drink, and she's talking about the transition of the neighborhood and how much she likes, and mind you, the neighborhood that I'm in Dumbo. In Dumbo, it's either you a worker or you a patron. There's no real in between for the most part. You either you live there or you work there. People ain't visiting Dumbo. People that visit, they leave Dumbo to go do something. So now, I'm not from there. I don't live there. I knew where there was a spot I could park. I parked the car, walked the 2 blocks, went in there, got an IPA. I'm sitting there. There's about 20 people in a place that can fit, no exaggeration, 120 people. So it's empty. And no pool table. It would have been nice if there would have been a pool table there. No pool table. And the kitchen was closed, which I already ate, so that's fine. And now this young lady, she's telling me something. I don't know. Why. And I already assessed the situation. She's no option that I would ever even consider. So I'm not even looking at her in that point of view. I'm not saying, okay, this is a possible option on one of those, that 14, 15-day period when LJ's taking a break. And now we're up to day 17, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And what happens is, so I'm more aligned with maybe I was being cruel. There's a part of me now that in hindsight, I'm thinking that there's a part of me that wants to be cruel to this woman in some sort of way. Like I just wanna be, I don't know why I just thought of that, but at the moment I really wasn't thinking that. I'm just I'm analyzing it heavy in my mind. So she says to me, "What kind of women do you like?" And I say to her, if a man was to ask that question, you would call him a cornball. No, I wouldn't. I says, yes, you would. I said, it amazes me how when a woman wants a man's attention, she bumps him. Right? And it's like, you are probably super proud of yourself for approaching a man. And I respect that to some degree, but let me just tell you this. If I was to ask you, what kind of men do you like? You would roll your eyes and just be like, I need somebody a little more confident. And she says, I'm very confident. I got a good job. I make great money, and I'm highly educated, and I'm still in school. This is what she tells me. And I say to her, what would Kevin Samuels say about that? And she says, who? And I was like, what would Kevin Samuels say about that? And she was just like, I'm too young to know who that is. And I was just like, that's an interesting way of saying that. It sounds a little bit like we're arguing now, right? But it wasn't. It was more like, I was smiling the whole time. And she was kind of smiling too. But we got a black woman that's about 5'5", who's dressed like a little bit goth. Okay, so she's in all black. Her friend was in all black as well. And she looked like she's about 8 weeks away from getting a chest tattoo. Right? And she has on a black wig. And the hair was synthetic. It was synthetic hair. I could use that as thread and sew up some buttons with this, with this hair of hers. So I say to her, I'm not gonna hold you. I said, I just want to point it out because, it's always, we can do better, because maybe the next time you approach a guy, you maybe won't bump him. You say something, and then you will never ask somebody who's right here talking to you, telling, you're conversing with the person right there in real time. Don't need to ask what kind of woman he's attracted to. Because then what's he going to do? Feed your ego and point out your cousin? Come on. So, I didn't like that. Bothered me. So now, she claims to not know who Kevin Samuels is, and she says, I'm 27. So I go, okay, you're 27 years old, and you don't know who Kevin Samuels is. I says, that's a shame. He's someone that all women need to know. And she was like, yeah. I said, it's about dating. And then she just went off like, yeah, because I started to date, and then I was dating this guy, and then da-da-da-da, and da-da-da. I was just like, okay. I might have hit her with a couple of, right, okay, Say what? All right, no, I didn't go through all that. I'm making the joke from a Chris Rock joke. Get out of here. What you said? What you told them? You know, when your wife comes home and want to tell you about her day, kind of a thing. So let's just wait till we get out this area. They got these huge machines that are taking off the old paint to the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. This is the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. And underneath this tarp is a pillar that holds up the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. And what they're doing is they're removing all the old paint and fixing all the rust. And they're like revitalizing the whole Brooklyn Queens Expressway. They're revitalizing the whole entire Brooklyn Queens Expressway. And it's really, really interesting. And how they just make it like new again. They like bring it back to just being brand new. And what else? Yeah, I was just didn't want to be around that noise anyway. So you know, so the young woman, she's like talking and you know, talking about vibes and all that kind of stuff. And like, I was digging your vibes and I liked your vibes. And I thought that, you know, we would make like a whole kind of vibe. So now she's like, I hit her with enough nodding of the head. Like, okay. Let her just get off whatever she was just talking about in that high-pitched voice, like a valley girl. That now she's like talking about what a vibe, that she can see that we are in some sort of vibe. And I was like, I said, you know, one thing that would kill the vibe, and I have to keep it real, is that a weave or is that a wig? And she was just like, what? She was like, what's the difference? And I say to her, I said, well, because if it was a weave, then maybe possibly we could be friends. But if it's a wig, you know, it's a weave, you know, you're committed to that look, you know, but these women with these wigs, you see them on a Friday night and they have the wig on. And the next time you see them, it could be the very next day. The wig is different. They put on their Saturday going to lunch wig. So you got you meet the Friday night wig person, and then the Saturday night wig person is a different person. You see? Got here late. What's up, Big Elvis? Boom! You are here. You have arrived. You just gotta press the little red button and go back. The little red ball. And this woman is now absolutely 100% offended. She's offended that there's a guy sitting at the bar by himself that you bumped. And you've done everything you can to have a conversation with him. And to make you not feel like I didn't want to feel like I was being the incel weirdo. So I was like, just leave your drink, give her drink, and you know, like I basically said, just come back and we can talk. And it was bizarre, to say the least. And she was offended by the whole hair wig versus weave. And you know, my thing is that the next time I see you, you might not even remember which wig you had on. You're gonna have to try on. You're gonna have to put on different wigs and all that. And it's like, unless I said, is this wig the look that you want me to remember you? She's like, no, you could just remember my face. You could remember my vibe. And I was just like, yeah, but if the next time I see you, you in an afro wig, and the next time I see you, after that, you in a gray wig like some old lady, and then you in a curly wig, and then you in a bone straight wig, and you're 27 years old. You're 27 years old. This seems... No, I don't know what the words are. But you're 27 years old, and I'm getting your Friday wig look. She was very turned off. And she went and just sat and talked with her friend. And then her friend was like biting her lower lip at me before I left, which I thought was interesting. She was like, girl, you asked me if this was a wig or a weave. And she said, ooh, that nigga don't give a fuck. That N-word don't give a He say whatever he want to say. I like him. And you know, she talked about being educated. She talked about traveling. She went to like where does everyone go to? Not Bangkok. Pardon the pun, but Thailand. She was like, yeah, I go to Thailand. I went to, Thailand like 2-3 times. 27 years old, single black woman with a wig on, not a weave, a wig. And then it was synthetic wig at that. And then she was bragging about how much money she made. I was like, I was about to say, you make money, you make a lot of money, prove it. I'm drinking the IPA, but I didn't want to have 2 drinks. And I barely finished the one that I had because they put it in a pint glass. And there was still some left in the pint, in the glass. It was about this much left. And I kept it pushing. I just kept it moving. So here I am now talking to you. Big Elvis, the Chef Rosenberg. I am here, y'all. Did that happen recently? This happened just now, tonight, before I got in the car. I stopped off at a place in Dumbo, where the average salary is like, $150,000. I'm sure. And it's just typical. You've seen a bar, you've seen one bar, you've seen them all. All the bartenders are the same. All the bar managers are the same. All the security in the front, they're the same. All the people, not much has changed everywhere you go. Some are whiter than others. But I just wanted to get me a beer, sit at the bar, keep it simple, keep it light, And now I'm going back home to my family. Was I wrong for asking the question, is that a weave or is that a wig? Because I just can't imagine the wig. I really can't. 27-year-old black woman rocking the wig like it's regular. Like when I was a kid, like it was only the old ladies that had the wigs on. And then as time went by, the weave got popular. They got the lace front. That I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine having a woman with a lace front and that thing is glued to the forehead. I couldn't even imagine that. I really can't. That's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. Am I in an open relationship? I am not in an open relationship. I am dedicated to my wife and my family. Tonight was about me sitting at a bar and having a conversation with a woman who, if I was going to exhaust options, would never be an option to consider. And that's a fact. Okay, this person is engaged. Okay. Let's see. Nah, bruh. These females really be out here wearing wigs in their early 20s. Look it up on YouTube. Yo, I believe you. I believe you. My daughter, who's 10 years old, says that the 13-year-olds that are from from the Red Hook area that they play with, that are from the projects. We're talking about the project girls. Because Red Hook is funny. Red Hook it has this project that's been there. Like, it was like one of the first projects that ever came to New York City. It's a huge, huge, huge space. It's like a city. But a very short one. And right all around it, all of the factories and all the stuff that was here, they got all gentrified all around it. So the main parks that are here, they're the same parks. So you have the one that's directly attached to the projects, and then you have two others. Those two others, the neighborhood kids still come. So you're gonna have project kids and you're gonna have gentrified kids, which is pretty cool. I think so. I think, having the gentrified kids with the project kids is that's kind of cool. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and my daughter, 10 years old, told me that these 13-year-old girls, they wearing wigs too, and she was, she'll say something like, that girl that I was, and she's like, yeah, she had on an orange wig today, and I just don't understand why. And I mean, the girl's like 13. I'm like, 13 wearing an orange wig? My God. So this woman was 27, and you could tell that, like, this is her life. Like, and I hope I was able to, like, somehow in my passive aggressive, it was passive aggressive. It was calculated, passive aggressive, maybe even a little mean. But with that being said, I hope I gave the woman something to think about. Like, yo, what's up with all that, what's up with the wig? Why are you in a bar with a wig on? Like what? And I knew it wasn't a weave. I mean, how cheap is your life that you gotta wear that, cheesy ass weave? Synthetic weave like that. Come on. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. You're appreciated and you're loved. Come on, forget about it. Big Elvis the Chef Rosenberg. I think we've said enough. To wig or not to wig? that? That's the question. Definitely. We're gonna be over here at the record shop in Red Hook on the 20th. They want us in front of the place, the person who's throwing the party. And I came by earlier today and there was a car not parked there. So it seems like I'm gonna be able to move right into that spot. We're trying to grow some roots here. That's a fact. Thank you. I'm gonna say goodbye now, y'all.